It seems everywhere you look, girls either have their titties out on Instagram, have an OnlyFans, or wave around a pride flag while celebrating their multiple abortions, killing all their babies. And everyone goes, probably you included, and me at one point included as well. There's no good girls around. How is this ever going to work out? Am I going to be single forever? I really want a relationship, but I just don't see how it's going to work. All the girls are bad. And I'm here to tell you that basically every solution you've been given to the problem is wrong. And the actual answer is this, and something you would never think. You don't actually want a relationship. That seems like a ridiculous notion. You're like, well, I know I want a relationship. You're a random dude on the internet. How could you know better than me? Trust me, bro. I know about this. Now, I want to first make a point that will make you understand where I'm coming from, okay? So, I want you to think about hunger, all right? You weren't born with the innate ability to eat a croissant, for example, okay? You weren't born with the innate desire to eat a Snickers bar, okay? You developed these desires. You came to desire a Snickers bar, you came to desire croissants or whatever the hell you like to eat, right? And the point is, this comes from an internal desire for hunger. Like, I'm hungry, and then your mind goes, well, in the past, I've eaten these different types of foods, and it made me feel good, so I'm going to go for it. So internal desire leads to external desire. Seems pretty obvious. Now, the point I'm going to make is that this external desire for women is actually not about the woman itself, and I'll give you an example that will perfectly demonstrate that. But rather, it's a desire to understand yourself more internally. It's an internal desire projected out onto other women. And the solution is to actually address these internal desires internally and not externally. Because not only is that bad for your own mental health, as demonstrated by probably the nights you spend humping your pillow, wishing it was an actual girl, but also demonstrated by the fact that this will make your relationships with women 10 times better. In fact, infinitely times better. I know that's a lot of promises, a lot to unpack, so give me a chance to do so, all right? Now, I want to give you an example. Have you ever thought of a girl where you've seen a girl, like maybe at school, maybe at church, maybe something like that, and, she's pretty, and then you go home thinking like, oh, we would make such a good couple. Oh, we'd have such nice babies. Oh, our babies are so beautiful. I could pound her. I bet she's such a good girl, whatever. When you haven't even really talked to her. Or a girl you only talked to like 2 times. You're like, oh my God, she's the love of my life. That doesn't make much sense, does it? Does it make much sense that you could fall in love with a girl after either not talking to her at all or only talk to her a little bit? Logically, that makes no sense. But what it is, and I have an explanation for it, which is going to play into the point I made earlier, it's your internal desires, what you actually desire for your own self. You're seeing another person, so then you really want the other person, right? That is what I'm talking about by me saying you don't want a relationship. Because a relationship really is 2 people, 2 individuals who understand themselves coming together into a union, okay? It's a desire for the other person, not a desire to satisfy oneself. That's what a real relationship is. And essentially, 99.9% of people's desire for a relationship is really a desire for them to integrate their own emotions and thoughts, okay? It's a little bit different for women, but this goes for men, okay? Now, in order to address these parts of you, you have to go through a process of mental transformation. And this mental transformation is going to make you happier because it's going to integrate all the aspects of yourself within your own mind, which is necessary in order to be happy. Because imagine your mind like a big business, like a business building. There's the CEO and all the employees, right? Will the business do better if all the CEOs and the CEO and all the, CFOs and all the, nerd business positions and then all the regular employees, they all disagree with each other and are fighting all the time? That's going to be an unhappy building. And that represents your own mind. Meanwhile, imagine if the CEO, all the other people, the employees, etc., they all get along. They all work together. They're all on the same page. That's going to be great business. That's equivalent to your mind. You not integrating these parts of yourself, you not understanding yourself to the fullest degree, and this is not focus on yourself bro advice. Because I'm not going to tell you to, work out. Make money. Those are honestly secondary to the main point I'm going to get to in this video, which I've already talked about a little bit. I just drank a little bit, so burping up a little bit. Anyways, so you understanding yourself fully is that good business. That is the business you want. That is the business you can go into a relationship with and actually do well, because I want you to understand, don't we all give better relationship advice than what we apply to ourselves? Like when we're talking to a friend, it's like, oh yeah, here's a relationship advice. It's perfect, spot on. And then, you go to your own relationship and you're like, and you completely forget everything you told your friend, right? That's not because you're a retard. Although, I mean, if I'm gonna be honest, a lot of you guys are, but I'm gonna assume you're not retarded for the sake of this example. It's not because you're retarded, okay? It's because it's like you think you should do something. That's like ego. Okay, you put it out. That's my identity. That's what I think I should do. And then you have this part of you that's unintegrated. This part of you that you think is actually desired for a woman, but really is desired to understand yourself, like I said earlier, and then it blocks it. It's like for example, maybe one situation is like, okay, this girl's bad for you, you should leave her. And it's going, you're about to do it, It's like, yeah, this is a good decision for me, and then boom, you get stopped. Then you get trapped in this relationship with a girl you don't actually want to be with. Like I've talked to some people and they're talking about the relationship. I ask them, what do you like about it? And then they're like, I could tolerate her. And logically speaking, and there's a lot of people who are like that, by the way. And there's a lot of people, if they were to get a pencil and a notebook, I just happen to have these on the table, and they were to write down their dream relationship, their dream girl, dream everything, their relationship would be nothing like it. And that's not because they don't actually desire it. What they write into paper is what they desire. But the problem is that they are unintegrated in themselves, so they're blinded by this potential to fulfill this aspect of themselves. And the problem is, this is the scary part, okay? It is a never-ending cycle, because ultimately another person cannot complete you if you're a man. Okay, you have to do it on your own. So you're just going to keep being in this endless cycle of being in a relationship, not going well, the relationship not going well. Then eventually, because you are going to not fit the archetype of man if you are in this position, because you can't walk away, okay, you can't put your foot down, you can't do any of these other stuff you need to do as a man, you'll probably get cheated on. I mean, there's many stories of that type of thing happening. Relationship will fall apart, you won't be respected, so on and so forth, okay? So the actual process of integration is actually very simple, okay? So what I want you to do is, if recently you have imagined a girl you haven't really talked to, if you've imagined this girl in a way that's like, oh my God, that would be so amazing, I want you to remember that. Bring it back to mind. If you think of a past occurrence, bring that to mind. If not, get a pen and paper, a pencil and paper, and you better do this, okay? Get a pencil, paper, whatever, and write out what you want from a girl. Like, I want this, I want that, blah, blah, blah. And see what you desire another person to do for yourself. Take everything on that paper and do it for yourself. So let's say, if you're really honest with yourself, you really want to get to the deep, you want to get to the essence of what you really want, and you write down, I want attention. I feel lonely. That's something a lot of people write. Like, okay, start taking actions in your day that are actively directed towards that, right? So, like, I feel lonely, I want attention. Okay, give yourself some attention. And when you go through your day-to-day life, go like, you know what? I'm worthy of attention. I could pay attention to myself. I'm not this terrible person who is unredeemable and needs another person to come in to save them. Because that's really where this comes from. I mean, there's a lot of people who are lonely, alone, and they don't feel any problems. But other people are completely different. It has to do with self-image. If your self-image is bad, then you're not going to want to be alone. Because you want someone else to cope with. It's a coping mechanism. So you want to start saying things in your life that make you okay with being by yourself. Oh, I really want, the comfort a girl gives me. Well, give yourself comfort. That's a feminine element you have to integrate within yourself. When I say feminine element, I don't mean wearing nails and, doing makeup or whatever. Not being a faggot. Okay, what I mean is there's masculine and feminine elements. For example, it's masculine for me to put directive into making this video. But it's also, I just dropped the notebook. Whatever, don't need anymore. But it's also feminine for me to use my intuition and be expressive and whatnot, to be creative. So what's happening is I'm a man first and foremost, but I'm using the feminine elements to supercharge my work and everything I do in my life. And that's what I'm saying you should do. You have to get these feminine elements to complement you. Okay? Because a woman complements the man. All right? That's what you want to do within your own mind. And once you do that, you will be a complete person. And when you're a complete person, you can be a complete person going into a relationship. And then you can make the right decisions and actually have a good relationship. But that requires you to withdraw, be alone for a little bit, and think to yourself. Now, there's far more information that I can put into a 10-minute and 30-second video, as I see right here. But that is the layman's process. If you want more information on this, join the Discord. I have a completely free channel, Silu. You go in there, scroll up. There's a bunch of different things that talk about a bunch of different stuff, right? But you'll see some more information there. I'm working on a 3 to 5 hour video on the mind that's going to be posted on the main channel. If you want to be updated on that, join the Discord. The link will be there when I finally get it done. It's been in works for like 4 or 5 months, but it's going to be a very good video. And in any case, you know, this is very different from all the red pill advice, the blue pill advice, so on and so forth. This is about, and it's not focus on yourself. It's focus on yourself, bro, is about going to the gym and making money. It's not necessarily about that. That's like a byproduct of what I'm telling you to do, which is to understand yourself. Because once you understand yourself, you not only get to understand God, because if you look within, you end up finding out that, you know, Christianity is the only position that could possibly ground your own existence philosophically and also emotionally. But you also come to understand the most difficult thing to do in your life, which is to see yourself for who you are. And only when you do that, only when you get to the very core, deepest part of who you are, all your deepest insecurities, all the worst things that happen to you, you can then rise like a phoenix from the ashes and then do the things you were meant to do. It's kind of like the process Jesus gave us as an example. You know, Jesus emptied himself, he humbled himself, he experienced this kind of ego death. He suffered, and he died. And the real message of Christianity, and a real message of your own life, as they apply synonymously, is death, suffering, and all these things. We really look deep inside, and then you break apart, and, you know, you feel so bad, like this relationship thing. You know, a lot of you guys probably felt bad about the idea of never being into a relationship. Like maybe that crossed your mind, like, oh my God, I can never not be in a relationship. Oh my God. That suffering, that neglect, if you just live through it, if you die through it, you learn something very important. Life does not end with death, because there's life after death. There is a resurrection. That's one thing Christianity teaches you, and that's one thing that's very true for life. Ask anyone who's achieved anything meaningful in their life. That being said, join Discord, like the video, subscribe for more videos. See you in the next one. That was a good one.